You know what's crazy? We live in the most connected generation in human history. And for some reason, somehow, people feel more misunderstood than ever before. Everyone's got a microphone, everyone's got an opinion, everyone has a platform these days, but almost nobody has a listening ear. And when you really think about communication skills in 2026, now that we have approached this year, the real advantage isn't how well you speak only. No, it's how well you actually listen, not passive listening. Okay. Not pretending to listen while scrolling on your phone. Okay. I'm talking about real active listening, the kind that makes people feel seen and heard, and they feel respected, not just when you are in front of them, but when you leave them. That is what we call emotional intelligence in action, right? That's leadership development in motion. And that's how trust is built in business, in leadership, in sales, negotiations, as well as life. I started noticing this years ago in everyday conversations that I was having. You'll be talking to someone, sharing something very important, whether to you or to them, and halfway through, you can tell they've already checked out. They have left the building, they hit the exit, they are gone. Okay. Their eyes glaze over sometimes. They're waiting for their turn to talk, and they're thinking about what they want to say instead of actually hearing you, right? We've all been in a situation like that. And then every once in a while, though, you do meet someone a bit different, someone who locks in to what you're saying, someone who asks thoughtful questions, someone who actually follows your story and even remembers what you said last time. You walk away from that conversation feeling lighter, you feel more confident, and you definitely feel more understood. That, in fact, my friends here, is the power of having a listening ear. This is something that I found to be quite interesting. Us as human beings, we crave validation. We want to feel acknowledged. When someone listens deeply, it signals safety to us. It tells your nervous system you're not rushed. Okay, you're not invisible. It when someone listens to you, it makes you feel that you matter. That's why active listening instantly strengthens relationships and builds trust faster than almost any persuasion technique. All right. In leadership skills, this is actually massive. Okay. The best leaders don't dominate conversations. I know we've heard a lot of a lot of moguls in these fields. They try to take over the conversation, right? Especially pertaining to phone sales or face-to-face closing. But the best leaders that, and I've been with best leaders, I've been coached by best leaders, I've purchased coaching services, and the best leaders, I've realized they do not dominate the entire conversation. What they do is they kind of facilitate that conversation. They create space for people to think. Okay. They create space for people to share and contribute. Teams also perform better when they also feel heard, right? Innovation grows when people aren't afraid to speak up. Listening directly impacts company culture, employee engagement, problem solving, as well as long term business growth. And that's all of what we're looking for, right? We can even go as far as obviously sales, right? and negotiation skills. Okay. Listening becomes a very competitive advantage. People don't buy because you talk more, they buy because you understand them better. Let me say that again. Okay. People don't buy from you because you talk more about your products or your services or too much about you. No, no, no. They buy because you understand them better. And the only way you can understand them better is by actively listening, okay? Listening with intent. When you listen closely, you hear emotional cues, you hear even hesitation sometimes, you hear uncertainty and excitement or fear or even motivation. That information helps you tailor solutions instead of pushing generic pitches. Okay. I once watched two sales conversations back to back. It was literally the same product, the same price, somewhat around the same price, and basically the same customer profile. One rep talked nonstop. Okay. They talked about their features, they tried to convince, but the other rep asked a few questions and genuinely listened. You could tell when I was watching the sales presentation and listening to the conversation, I could tell that the other sales rep was, in fact, listening a lot more than the other sales rep in that at that time. And in turn, the customer ended up buying from the listener, okay, not the talker. And not because of really better persuasion, it was really not that much anything different, but because it was a better understanding. The person that listened more could, in fact, like I said before, they could hear those emotional cues. They could hear that excitement. They could hear when it's time to motivate, or if there was a little bit of fear of moving forward in the conversation or closing the deal. They actively listened to what that person and what that business owner was saying, and that business owner felt understood. And in fact, the business owner mentioned that. So that is what you call real influence. All right. Listening also sharpens your personal development. When you listen more than you speak, you actually learn faster. Okay. Oh, it's powerful what I'm saying. Guys, when you listen more than you speak, you actually learn faster. You pick up patterns in human behavior. You understand how people think or how they would react, and how that person would make decisions. You, in fact, gain a lot of wisdom without having to experience every mistake yourself. And that's a success mindset that most people tend to overlook. Even in conflict, a listening ear changes everything. Most arguments aren't about the surface issue, they're about feeling unheard. The moment someone feels understood, tension begins to drop and drop down significantly in some cases. Defensiveness softens. Conversations become collaborative instead of combative. That is, in fact, emotional intelligence at work. Okay. Here's something that you don't really hear a lot of people talk about sometimes: silence is powerful. So we just silence, we shut our mouths. Silence is powerful. Silence is power. Okay. Most people are uncomfortable with it. So they rush to fill the gap with talking, with a whole bunch of noise, with something to say, right? But silence gives people space to think. It gives people space to reflect, and also to reveal what actually matters. Some of the most important truths come out after a pause. Hmm. That's interesting. That's interesting. That's interesting. So, if you want to improve your communication skills immediately, I would like it if you try this, okay? In your next conversation, don't interrupt to whomever you are speaking with. Don't mentally rehearse your response, right? Stay present. Stay present in the moment, right? Ask open ended questions, reflect back what you heard to the best of your ability. Let silence breathe, hmm? And watch how much deeper the conversation becomes. People will begin to open up more to you. Trust will increase naturally. Opportunities will surface organically. And your confidence also will grow quietly. Okay. That's the hidden advantage of mastering listening. In a world full of talkers and noise, and everybody wants to get their point across, attention becomes currency. When you give someone your attention, you're giving them something rare. Okay. That's why listening strengthens relationships. It improves your leadership. If you are, in fact, in a leadership position to whom is watching here, it enhances business communication. Okay. It also boosts negotiation outcomes. All right. If you are in the mergers and acquisitions field of some sort. And I found that it also elevates your own personal growth as well. So, this is something that you can work into your offer, work into you explaining your product or your products or your services. This is something that you can be active in your marriage. This could be something you can be active in as being a mother or a father or a sister or a brother. I'm telling you, being a an effective listener, guys, it has an impact on everything about your life from the time that you were young to the time that you are the age that you are now. If you have not listened, you saw the repercussions of what happened when you didn't, right? But when you listen, you're a better communicator because you actually know what to say without having to mock up phrases or things that's not really conducive to the person that is speaking to you. So the beautiful part about this is that anyone that practiced to listen better or more attentively, when you start to do this, you realize that it's not about your talents. You don't need money, right? This is free game that I'm giving you. Okay, you don't need any status, or you don't need to be a CEO or CFO or COO or VP of sales or anything like that. You just need presence. You just need to be present in the moment, okay, to be a gift, to be a present to them. When you listen to someone, okay, that shows that you care about them, you love them, you are in tuned, you are invested, right? So if you want to stand out in 2026, all right, sharpen your listening ear. Okay. Sharpen your listening ear. It will quietly separate you from the crowd faster than almost any other skill that you develop this year. Okay. So let me ask you something. When was the last time someone truly listened to you? Okay. And how did it make you, in fact, feel? Drop that in the comments below because I would love to hear it. Okay. I would love to hear it. And if you enjoy conversations around communication skills, emotional intelligence, leadership growth, business, negotiation strategies, whatever it is, okay. Um, I'm telling you right now, you're going to want to subscribe, guys. You're going to want to like this video, comment below. Okay. So that YouTube algorithm can say, hey, this is a great video. We want to push it out to more people so other people can stay educated on things that they need. These are life, not hacks, guys. This is just something that we all should have learned when we were younger, but it just didn't work out that way, as we all know. But now is the time where we learn to listen first, keep our mouths shut. Okay. It is time. that we start building smarter conversations, but it starts with our listening ear. Take care. God bless you. And I will see you in the next video.